because he took the film out of the market and then he walked away with it when nobody was already bidding for it, you know? And yes, and I was very depressed because I had put all the money I had and I had a lot of debts to do my film because I was adamant that the government was going to be my partner. I didn't want to be the government, the owner, because I didn't want to play the game that they do. You know, that you have to be kissing the ring of the Pope over there. And because of that, they got upset. And I ended up with no distribution and no money, and also in debt.
A child.
And with a child, yeah. And I never planned to go to Hollywood, never. I mean, when I was a child and I was watching Poseidon Adventure, saying, "No, I want to do films like that." But Sidney Pollack saw my first film, and they flew me to LA. They offered me a job, and yeah. Then that pretty much stabilized a little bit my money situation. The film opened in Mexico, and it was a huge hit. We hadn't paid the debts. And yeah.
But the first job you made in the US was an episode of Fallen Angel, right?
Produced by Sydney and still going,
yeah.
Yes.
And in an interview you said that you feel really uncomfortable and very numb on the set of that episode. You're not most comfortable with yourself. Why?
I was terrified. He gave me this, it was one more time, it was 5 short films. All of those, it was a series that was going to be 5 short films, all of them based upon short stories of film of noir crime classics of the 50s and 60s, 50s and 40s, and from Donald Westlake to Chandler and so on. Not only that, they had like top directors directing everything. There was Steve Soderbergh, who was like after Sex, Lies and Videotapes and all of that. Jonathan Kaplan, who won the Oscar for The Accused. Phil Joannou, who was the most famous young guy at the time. And also Tom Cruise directing one and Tom Hanks directing the other one. And I was the new guy, and my English was so-so. I was so scared of everyone, and on top of that, every time I had my 6 days to shoot the thing, and they will come back and say, "You know what? Now you have 5 because one of the Toms needs 1 more day." And then I had my location that I love. I prepared my locations. Hey, you know what? The other Tom likes your location. He's going to take the location. So I had no location. So I was like the ugly duckling, and I was terrified. And then I was working with Laura Dern, Diane Lane, and Alan Rickman, and I was terrified of them. On top of that, the location, the house, a beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright location, was under the Hollywood sign. And I would arrive and say, "Oh shit." And the thing is this, Alan Rickman can be very intimidating. He could be very intimidating just because he's very serious, has this super deep voice, and he's very, very short in his expressions, but very clever and very sharp. And I was terrified of all of them. So the first day I started shooting, and it was a mess. It completely goes south at the end of the shoot, and I was really suffering. At the end of the shoot, I completely have lost it, and at the end of the shoot, I have done just like 1/4 of what I was supposed to do. So I stay, terrible idea, just to make it closer to the set. in the closest motel, that it was a motel, like very seedy motel in Hollywood. I wanted to cry. Literally, I wanted to call my mom, you know? It was like I was so... And the next day, I arrived as terrified. And then the AD comes and says, the assistant director, and says, hey, Alan and Laura want to talk to you. And then it's the moment I genuinely think, okay, this is the moment that I'm fired. And I walk to this room where they were at this office, and there they are. And Alan says, hello, Alfonso. And it was like, you know, that character in Harry Potter. Like, he was like... And so I sit, and Laura starts very sweetly and says, we're here for you. The reason we're here is we saw your film and we know that you're a great director. And Alan says, we're here for you. You have to tell us exactly what you want. We're going to do it. We're supporting you. You're a great director. They kept on telling me that they saw and that they know that they knew that I was a good director. And he says, oh, please just tell us without fear what you want. And I said, oh, okay. And so I came out of that, and they said, what happens is nothing, let's start shooting. He says, okay, where do we start? He says, we're going to repeat the whole day yesterday. And he said, you can't. You're already far behind. He says, I don't care, I'm going to repeat the whole day. And I'm just saying this because that is an example of how people in your life, that cross in your life and suddenly gives you a vote of confidence, can change everything. That day I shot everything of the day before, everything of the second day, and half of the third day in the day. Just because you have, you know, the embrace of people. And I would be crazy if I talk about my career being about myself. It's about Sidney Pollack, about these people, about Luis Mandoki in Mexico, Jose Luis Garcia Gracia in Mexico, so many people that they pave your way. And at the end, I finished on time, and that was the show that got the awards among all the other shows in the series.
So after that,